It seemed pretty clear to us that there was an ADHD situation going on long before she was officially diagnosed. There was a complete and total lack of focus throughout the day from activity to activity. And unless she was really interested and engaged in a particular topic, she was going to be distracted and on to the next thing really quickly. And on top of that, there was a real emotional volatility. Things that would seem really small and insignificant to us or to our other child would really set her screaming and off in a direction that we couldn't seem to reel her back in. It's exhausting, and it was just a matter of trying to survive every day. I mean, that was really all it was. There was no thriving. There was no real growth as a family. It was just, all right, we got to get through today, coach her all the way until we can get her into bed. Hopefully she goes down to bed, which was a whole other problem. The body would go into the bed, but the brain would never turn off. And you just finally get her there, and then you start it all over again. And it's really the proverbial hamster wheel every day. And it's funny because by my nature, when anything new comes in front of me, I have to dive into researching it. I'm onto Google, I'm onto anything I can find, and I couldn't find that much about your program. Mm-hmm. So, which in my mind, it starts to raise red flags. Okay, what am I getting into here if I go forward with this? We spoke with you, I think twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, we're at a crossroads. We've never wanted to medicate our child unless it was absolutely necessary. So we had gone down a lot of other roads previously. And I just kind of looked at this and said, well, it's just one more step we have to take before we go to a last resort, which is what we would consider medicating her. After we talked to you the second time, it really just clicked to me that this is something we have to try. This is so completely different than anything else we had ever looked into, considered, and everything that seemed quote unquote traditional didn't work for us, didn't do anything for us. So it just became the time that we said, well, let's try something more non-traditional, because anything that eventually ended up being the norm didn't start out that way. So we kind of just said, well, what do we have to lose? If in a worst case scenario, it's just one more thing that we tried and it didn't work, but thank God it did. And I can tell you the cost of your program, which seemed like a lot up front, was less than every other thing we tried combined that didn't work. Yeah, I mean, I just think like any other thing you're doing as you're raising your child, if you're doing it as a team, it's probably going to turn out better. And again, when Kim came to me with this, I tend to defer to her on these things anyways, because she has a background as a social worker. She knows, more about child well-being than I will claim to know. So I kind of take her word on these things. If she thinks something's a good idea, unless I can come up with a great reason why I object, I'm just going to go with it. Happy wife, happy life, as they say. But again, don't say to your husband, do this for me, do it for the child. And, if there's anything you wouldn't do for the well-being of your child, then, shame on you. I looked at this girl every day and saw the struggle she was having. And to me, there was no price on trying to figure that out. I mean, it was just that simple. I can, if I have to work more to make more money to figure this problem out, what does that really mean in the big picture for this kid to have a good life? It was just that simple to me. There's no price on that.